This is Gigant, a story about recently deceased people coming back to life to hunt aliens, and it's written by Hiroya Oku.
どんな漫画読む？漫画。どんな漫画読む？
This is Inuyashiki, a story about two people who are transformed into powerful cyborgs but use their powers in very different ways. This is also written by Hiroya Oku. These two manga were popular enough to get anime adaptations and were extremely popular for their time, especially Gigant, which has gotten multiple spin-offs and adaptations. In today's video, I'll be talking about another manga by Hiroya Oku that I believe is overshadowed by the other two, but has all of the things that make his works unique, and that is Gigant. This is an absurd story that goes to insane places you couldn't have pictured going to when you started it. It also has all of the insane sci-fi shenanigans you've come to expect from an Oku manga, and moves at a breakneck pace, keeping you on your toes the entire time. Also, please like and subscribe as it really helps the channel out a lot. In this video, I'll be covering the early parts of the story before branching out and looking at some of the crazier moments from the story. After that, I'll talk a little bit about the art. Also, just a warning, if you do read this manga, it covers a lot of heavy subject matter as I'm showing on the screen right now. So if this is a bit too much for you, then you might want to skip this manga. If you would like to avoid spoilers, I suggest you click off now, but if you don't mind, then please enjoy the video. Now, before I get into the crazy fights and moments, I'll talk about the build-up. Our story starts with a boy recording in the city before we get the chapter cover and title. Chapter 1, Actress, and this is our first look at the world of Gigant. We follow Ray, who is a high school student and movie fanatic. We also learn that his father is a film producer and that he wants to become a movie director after high school. Ray and his friend then decide to go and ask one of their classmates if they want to act in their film, fully expecting her to say no. She decides to do it after Ray tells her that he will be sending it to a film festival. Right after Ray tells his friend that he will have the script done by the end of the week, and we see him working on it at home. We see him present the finished script to the crew he'll be working with, but on the first day of filming, the actress apologizes and says that she can't do the film because her boyfriend has asked her not to. Ray walks home feeling down and notices an odd-looking man in the street. As he walks, he notices signs with nasty messages about an adult actress he likes. He lays in bed and gets up heading out with a bag. He begins taking down all those signs before he's interrupted. "So was this all you then?" the actress asks from behind him. He's surprised and stutters, saying no. "Then why do all this?" the woman asks. He says no reason other than that he thought she wouldn't like them. She thanks him and hugs him and asks if he's free. She wants to give him a reward for looking out for her. He agrees and they go somewhere to grab a drink. They chat and introduce themselves, and we learn that the woman's name is Chiho. After chatting for a while, they decide to leave as it's getting late. She thanks him again and leaves, and Ray watches her go, but she runs back and says that they should exchange numbers. They do, and Ray runs home overjoyed. He messages her when he's home, thanking her for the drink, and she responds with a good night image, and Ray smiles. One day when Chiho is walking home, she hears a loud screech as a car swerves. She sees that weird man from earlier on the ground. He's been hit by the car. Chiho runs over and goes to help. She goes to call an ambulance, but before she can give them information, the man hangs up the phone, saying no ambulance. The man then grabs her arm and sticks something to her wrist. She tries to get it off, but can't, and the man asks her to take care of the rest as his body shrinks and becomes doll-like. She picks up a disc next to him and heads home to play it, and it's just a really long video of a man walking around asking questions like, "Where am I?" and "What year is it?" She gives up as it's not making sense, and later when she's in the restroom, she bumps the dial and sees the number on her wrist increase. She looks down and notices her cigarette has shrunk, but she then realizes that she's grown as her clothes are ripped and the room has become cramped. She crawls out of the restroom and calls for her boyfriend to help. That's all I'll be showing of the early chapters, as I guess that works as her origin story and introduces our two lead characters. I enjoyed the first couple of chapters, and it definitely kept me wondering where the plot would lead to. Now time to talk about some of the insane moments from Gigant, so if you want to avoid further spoilers, you should click off now, but if you don't mind, then let's continue. One day as a man is walking, something brown hits his cheek, and before he can process what it is, feces begin to rain down on the people of Tokyo. Later, Ray's friend asks him if he's heard about ETE, the Enjoy the End website that has gone viral for allowing people to make requests and then a poll is ran and whatever wins actually happens. Rei checks out the site and sees the poll running for the next day. Rei watches as the votes are cast, and the option with the most votes is for an actor to run naked through Shinjuku, and within moments of the poll ending, he sees on Twitter that an actor is streaking through Shinjuku. Rei can't believe it and thinks that it must be some trick. Later at dinner, Rei is glued to his phone as he watches the next round of voting, and people vote for a massive earthquake to happen, and as soon as the voting ends, once again, the earthquake happens. This ends up drawing media attention as everyone follows along to see what happens next, and this becomes a massive part of the story as the characters try to deal with the insane things that happen because of this website, and this all builds up to someone requesting for a god of destruction to reduce Tokyo's population to 1 million, and it quickly receives the most votes. Lightning rips across the sky, but just as fast as it appears, it vanishes. But then we see feet appear in the sky, and it's the god of destruction slowly descending down to Earth, and it begins destroying the city. We also see that the same thing is going on in New York with the Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters. The god continues to destroy the city, and Chiho begins to worry as Rei is in the city at the same time. She sprints out of her house and begins to use the dial to grow larger. She intends to save Rei and stop the god of destruction. Chiho arrives just in time to save Rei from being stomped and begins her fight with the god, and I will say it's really annoying having to put black boxes everywhere. This fight is chaos and ends with Chiho shrinking and jumping inside of the god's body and expanding, tearing him open from the inside out, and it's just the most insane scene you would think could have happened, but it's just something you would expect from an Oku manga. She succeeds in saving Rei and Tokyo, and this is basically the story of Gigant. Increasingly more dangerous things appear in Japan, and she must save them from them. Okay, now to slow things down after talking about the insanity of this series, with possibly the cringiest scene I have ever read. After Chiho breaks up with her abusive boyfriend, Rei sees this as an opportunity to ask her out. She is clearly uncomfortable but tells him she will think about it, which leaves Rei overjoyed. Later, Chiho takes Rei out to eat and tells him that they can't be together and that she values their friendship. Rei just begins crying and won't stop regardless of what she says, and not quiet crying, but loud wailing that draws the attention of the other customers, and this goes on for so long and it's just incredibly embarrassing even just reading it. This crying eventually makes Chiho feel bad and agree to date him, which is just all kinds of wrongs for reasons I don't need to spell out to you. After Chiho saves Tokyo, she is taken away by the government for questioning, and Rei can't contact her, but she calls him and asks him to take care of Mochi, her dog, while she's gone. While she's gone, crazy things begin happening and the military intervenes, but they could only do so much. Everything changes when 3 gods of destruction appear in Tokyo, with the goal once again being to lower Tokyo's population. This forces the government's hand, who decide to deploy Chiho to stop them, as she's the only chance they have, and we get these insane shots of her dropping in over the city. Without spoiling everything that happens, I'll just say that she once again saves Tokyo and defeats the 3 gods of destruction. This makes her an overnight sensation, she is all anyone can talk about, and she becomes an icon. People dye their hair pink and style it the same way as her. From modelling, endorsements, TV interviews, and even movies, she is all the media wants to cover, and she gains all the fame and fortune anyone could ask for. It's pretty interesting watching how she adapts to her new life. That's all the insane moments I'll cover for this video, but just know it gets crazier, with time travelers who aid Chiho, and even crazier things being created by ETE that Chiho will have to deal with, and it really is the fun and weird chaos that draws people to Hiroya Oku's works. The art in Gigant is amazing, with the backgrounds being hyper-realistic, and this is due to Oku using 3D models and real images of cities and buildings to create the realistic look of the Tokyo setting. He conveys mass chaos so well, with the cities always taking the brunt of these extinction events. Some of my favourite shots are the world rejoicing after Chiho stops the gods. Just seeing how widespread and globally significant the battles are is a cool touch that a lot of other authors miss the opportunities to show, like Gege in the final arc of Jujutsu Kaisen. The action and fights are always fun, not as good as Gant's, but definitely enjoyable. I just wish at some point he could have given Chiho clothes. I also love the designs of the gods, especially later in the series. We have the scariest one, which is referred to as Satan, for obvious reasons. The others also have interesting and terrifying designs that, especially when they appear, left me questioning just how the cast would be able to beat them. My only peeve about the fights is that Chiho kills them the same way 90% of the time, which can be a touch boring, but besides that, They are gory and intense battles that Oku is known for. Character designs are also pretty standard, just being very clean and average, suiting the cast really well. They become a bit crazier when the time travelers are introduced, who some are naturally really tall but also get around in their underwear for some reason, and quickly grow an addiction to cup noodles. Gigant is another amazing and weird entry in Oku's impressive catalogue that I think any fan of his should check out. It's an insane blend of crazy sci-fi shenanigans and intense fights that don't give the reader a chance to breathe. This has also got me excited for Oku's next work, which will be coming out in December, called Kane Rekahime, which I'm sure will be another insane read. Also, thanks to Wimosuka for making the thumbnail for this video. I'll be leaving a link to their channel below, and you really should go check them out as they do amazing work. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!